What's up guys, this is Shana and today we're going to check out Solaris Parq in Dutamas area. Let's go! Hey guys, we are now in Dutamas area and this is also called the KL Metropolis. It's literally next to Mont Kiara where you have a lot of brand new buildings coming up. So you have offices, you have convention center like MyTech, you have malls like Publika, you have a very huge mosque, you have the courts. That's why the office areas here are just filled with lawyers. Also, this is right opposite Bukit Tunku and Segambut. But the weird thing is right from the entrance, right? In order to come in, there will be a traffic light, and when you come into the development, there will be this inner road first, so that will be the entrance, and there will be sidewalks. The landscape treatments are meant for safety as well. So when you walk here, you are actually kept away from the motorways, so that's nice. The walkways are huge, and they covered the drain very tastefully. Cool. So coming in, that will be the main entrance, and you can see the entire landscape treatment. You just look at the width of the buffer for the landscape. There's so much space. And you have the willows, you have the tulips kind of things. And you look into the facade design, it's very organic oriented in terms of colors, in terms of forms, and that will be the drop off. So when you come in just now, there will be block A, block B. In terms of hardscape and softscapes, everything is very tastefully done. Then coming into the drop off, this will be the mail room, and you can look at the gold trimmings with the LED lightings, right? That's nice. And you have somewhat like a stone texture wall going on with stone flooring, some decorations, furnitures, water features, lighting fixtures. Wow! And the best part I like about this is the height, then the open area that doesn't require any active cooling measures. And now we are at the car park. It's an elevated one, so you can see it's very bright, and when you come in, this will be the ramp. It's a scissors ramp format, so you only come up half a floor each time. You have cement screening, you have epoxy paints for the pedestrians. Then for seating height is 2.8, and they are applying the flat step system all the way. So a very simple light like that, right? You can see it illuminates the entire area. So some context of the surrounding, we have the Mahkamah, right? The complex Mahkamah Kuala Lumpur right in front, where literally you can walk to court. And then this will be the Mat 1 building, a mixed development where you have some commercial supports here. That might be the walking distance amenities to the residents of the park. Then you have the convention center already. You have some Medan Selera, a food court here, and that will be the mosque. What I like here, although it's rather busy, you can see the setback given from the road is very generous. Then this was a drop off just now, and you can see that it's all connected, so you get this access of ventilation through the entire car park. Then this is the access when you walk into the car park lobby, so there is actually a dedicated area for safety. I also like that this is transparent, especially when you have kids. You know whether the door is going to be open or not. Well, that happened to mine, and when you open the door, there's actually a buffer before the road. Nice. And something to point out also, you can see that it's open along with the concept of natural ventilation, so that reduces maintenance costs. So now we are in the facilities deck at level 1. And they call this a canopy area. So the very first obvious thing right in front when you come out from the lift is this massive children play area. What's cool is a multi-level one. Then you have the rubber tiles to prevent concussion. You have some climbing structures, the slide, you have the tunnel burrow, You have the climbing thing going on. And this is covered nicely. Well, I call it contained nicely, so the children won't run the other side. Next to this will be the tennis court, and there's an open area. It's the open lawn area for kids to just play around, right? And there's a sitting area here. Something to point out then will be this structure of mosque. It's not a good or bad kind of thing. It just needs to be within your acknowledgement when you purchase that. So there be prayers 5 times a day, definitely, right? And this is also one of the main cause of congestion during Fridays around lunchtime. I really like the design language, like every space is really thought through. Like when you come over here, there will be like semi-circle sitting areas to just take a pause when you walk around. You have this circular dining area. When you are dining here, there's an actual opening to the roof that highlights the centerpiece. And everybody just gathers around here. You have your halal, non-halal barbecue areas. And just look at the geometry of the chairs. Totally in contrast to the entire environment. Nice. Looking at the structural members, it's not a simple column, right? It needs to be arranged in a certain way. And this is located next to the lap pool. So we have timber decks. We have some waterfall action. Now we are walking next to the lap pool. Some sitting areas at the side. And I like the water falling effect of acoustic that actually somewhat masks the traffic noise from the surrounding. And for the swimming pool, I think this is a 35 meters lap pool to the infinity edge. And you have a transparent handrail at the end looking to the court now. And that will be connected to this little playful lazy river kind of structure here. But what is greatly demonstrated here is the landscape design. You just check out the density, you can barely see the base. And this is applied throughout all islands. All of them are just so compact. And in the middle of the lazy river, this is what we call a rain spa. Well, they call it a rain spa. It's like an outdoor shower, and this is located then next to the actual jacuzzi. So it's a very hidden spot away from everything else. Now we are in the games room. You have darts, you have air hockeys, you have pool, you have foosball, some areas to chill, and this is next to the residence lounge. This is gonna be one of the more complete reading room slash resident lounge, where you actually have books here for residents to check out. And the overall space is very generous and it's very bright, so the quality, quantity checked. And I really like the curtains that diffuse the light a little bit, make it more gentle around the reading area. That will be the lounge area, also a central sitting area. And now we are at the cinema area that is open for residents, but it comes with a cost. So the fee is like $50 for 4 hours. You have all these lounge chairs, you have the bean bags, you have the desk for you to put your drinks and popcorns. That will be the screen. I think it will be also run as a karaoke kind of thing. But is the screen too small? Then right opposite the lounge, this will be the function room where you can have gatherings. They are applying hardwoods arranged in a herringbone kind of pattern. And I just noticed the amount of air cons within this hall. There's like 10 blowers within this compartment itself. Then when the function hall is a little bit too big for a formal gathering, there are also informal gathering space like this. This will be the private dining area. And so far residents are using this to have meals with their friends. They just order food delivery, they pick up and they just have it here. And now we are in the gym. It's a very large area, almost like an equipment showroom, where once you come in, you have all the machines scattered around the perimeter. So you have the cardio machines facing the front, which is all greeneries. This side will be the future park, as we mentioned just now. Then we have bikes, we have skiing machines. I haven't seen these before. Then you have the TRX, you have a bit slightly outdoors, free weights. So we are now at the standard floor plate. There will be 4 lifts, 1 fire lift, servicing 8 units in total. It's a double loader corridor. We have units on both sides and it's very efficient. I think this will be the refuse area. Let's go check it out. Coming from the lift, this lobby is rather spacious. So this is 3.1 meters in width, 2.5 meters in height, and it's rather bright because you have these window panels on this end, also on the opposite end. And what's cool, when you walk straight into this, at the far end will be the Twin Towers already. That's nice. Coming out from the lobby, there will be only 4 units per wing. The width of the corridor is 1.6 meters. And here we can see the arrangement of a corridor without voids in between. So there is actually 2 schools of thoughts. One is to have voids within, so your inner room and the bathroom gets open ventilation. But the void area is always unpleasant looking. In other words, now I think there are a trend that goes like this, where there's absolutely no void, it's all covered. It looks like a hotel or office. But the shortcoming to this is it feels way more claustrophobic if not done well. This floor plate is rather short, so you can reach daylights pretty much throughout the entire space. And located within the corridor itself, this will be the refuse. Right, so this is the refuse area. Ta-da! I think for 8 units, this is sufficient enough, but there's no recycle colors. Well, if you put recycle ones, then suddenly instead of 2, you need to put like 4. Then walking to the end of the unit, this will be the unit that we're going to check out today. It comes with a camera like this. This is exactly your doorbell, so whenever you press this, they can actually see who is there before they open. And there will be a small little foyer. How I wish this could be a ramp instead of a step. And going in, the door width is around 1.08 meters to be exact. And it comes with a Samsung lock set. It also comes with a card system and a number system. Once you come in, you will have this wall first before you access to the unit. And this will be the unit that we're going to check out today. 1423 square feet, 3 bedrooms, a rather big unit. And you can see overall the layout is very squarish. Once you come in from the foyer, you take a turn before you reach the dining and the living area next to the balcony. Then on this corner there will be the dining connecting to the yard space. Then there will be a small partition here, and that connects us into the reading corner or the secondary family space. It also serves as a foyer before every bedroom. So you have 1, 2 identical ones here, and there will be a principal bedroom with an ensuite that comes with a bathtub. As this is a corner unit, therefore there will be openings on 2 sides of the unit, so that's nice. So every bedroom gets windows along with the balcony and kitchen. And you can see it's a great demonstration. Without the void, a layout can still work. But the only thing is that kitchen wise, it's barely connected to the outdoors. Position for you to put your sun toy or your prayers table, or for you to put a sideboard for you to drop your keys or items before reaching to the dining and living area. And it's very spacious. So the ceiling height is around 3 meters and the wall-to-wall width is around 4 meters. You combine that all together to accommodate your living and dining. Wow. And what's more exciting is, from the living space, looking out towards the balcony, you get this amazing skyline. Right, you can check it out. Woo! But this is at the lower floor, so it's closer to the roads, it's closer to the facilities deck, so there will be more potential to noises. But this proximity to the parks and trees is very nice. Once again, looking at this view, right, it's very hard to believe we are within city center itself, because you check out the amount of greeneries around. And of course, we have a lot of public buildings around. So So that is something to take note. Obviously, here we also get first class view to the facilities area. And from this perspective, again, you get to really appreciate the dynamic of arrangement of forms. So you have the linear lines along with organic patterns around, right? Anyway, we have a glass handrail, so to maximize that view. And this balcony is 1.3 meters. You have a drain because it's so wide, right? And you have a floor trap that looks like this, very tastefully done. Nice. Then for the walls, you have spray paintings. Then you have sockets that are also covered for safety reasons. Then for the sliding doors, they are slightly tinted in green. I don't know why like green is like the official color. Anyway. Fan hook, lighting points, all are provided, and this is the exact condition of the VP unit. So this unit just got VP like a week only, so it's still hot. We have floor tile throughout the space. We have timber skirtings. Aircon units are provided, because this space is so big, right? They need 2 aircons within the space itself. And this will be the kitchen. So this is a linear form kitchen, and I foresee that there could be a partition, a glass partition here if you worry about the whole unit smelling like you're cooking. And even if you partition here, right, the width of the space is around 1.75, which is still very, very spacious. Then you have your basin here, a dual basin, and it's very deep, very nice. Just that my mom would still complain that you cannot put in the wok. Then you have the backsplash in a combination of tiles and perspex. Then top, bottom cabinets all provided. I'm not too sure how many burner is this. I think this is a 2 burner setting. And I like the bronze trimming around, which flows through from the common areas into the unit. Cool and hot by Electrolux. Then you have the oven. And next to the kitchen, this will be the small access towards the yard space where you will have your washer and dryer. And how I wish this could be a little bit more in terms of the opening, because at this setting the kitchen do not really have ventilation or access to ventilation unless you open this. And right next to the yard space will be the aircon latch with the aircon compressors on this side. From the kitchen going through the space, this will be a small opening into the private spaces. So I can see this as an advantage where it partitions very nicely the open spaces and the private spaces. But how nice if this can be removed, right? But most likely this is a column. Anyway, this will be their dedicated family or work area. But before we proceed further, the owner bought this unit at 1.7, so I think now it's still around that price. And the asking rental rates per month for such a unit in fully furnished condition is around 6,500. Coming back to this setting, whenever there's guests around that hangs out outside, right, this is a very nice space for the family members itself, because it also serves as a foyer before going into each and every bedroom. I really like that. And this will be the common bathroom. For the 2 bedrooms as well as the guests, you have a full-fledged mirror, full height wall tiles with a window. And you have the vanity top, that's nice. Basin and WC by Roca, shower screen, shower. Then next to the bathroom, there will be 2 identical bedrooms that has the same size, even the same window profiles in mirrored positions. But one thing, the door frames are very tight. The clearance of those door frames is 2.35 meters. But I like the effort from the team in trying to provide as much ceiling height as possible to the users. Although they need to cover up the utilities by providing plaster ceilings, right? They still try very hard to salvage whatever they can in terms of space. So I really appreciate that. Going into the room, this is a 3 meters by 3.7 length bedroom. You have the laminated timber flooring, you have timber skirtings. And this view actually faces the court and Met 1 along with the adjacent tower. Well, you also get the view of the lap pool. And what I like will be the ceiling height of around 3.03 meters. Last but not least, let's check out the principal bedroom. In this space here feels like there are a lot of planes, but I guess it's how you ID up the place. This will be the workspace, I think, before you go into your bedroom. Oh, look at the amount of openings. So it's around 3 meters by 3.8. The ceiling height is still consistent, and the difference will be the openings that you get. As this will be the position of the bed, right? Once you get out from the bed, the first view that you get will be the skyline along with all these greeneries. So now the only thing, if you're particular about the prayers or the traffic noise that comes from that very busy junction, right? Well, let's try and see. And this window specs is pretty cool as they have a mechanism here to push before you actually turn. So there's like another level of tightness to things. So let's now just listen to the water sound again. Wow! Then on second thought, instead of this being a workstation, I can just work outside with the kids, right? This will be a walk-in wardrobe for the wife. Maybe it's not big enough, I'm not too sure. But it's a very nice space. But I just don't like when you have two planes, or where I say three planes arranged in such a manner. It feels very tight. But anyway, going through, this will be the principal bathroom. So the width from wall to wall in your bathroom is 2 meters wide. So I can't even reach wall to wall, not even to the mirror. And you have full height wall tiles just like the one outside. This very sizable window, and it comes with storage space. So that's very convenient. WC and basins from Roca, you have for him and for her. And it's a hot and cold kind of tap, so that's very useful, especially for the target market within this region. And look at the countertop along with the vanity area. Woohoo! Shower screen is fully transparent, so it further enhances the size of the bathroom. And this will be the bathtub by Roca next to the mosque, which is a bit weird, but let's not look at it. We look into the greeneries and the skyline. So what will happen here, I guess, we can either tint this a little bit or just put blinds or whatsoever. Whenever the daylight hits in, then it's going to be very nice. Here also you will have access to the aircon ledge outside. And now we are at the rooftop facilities for one of the blocks, and each block will have their very own facilities. This one is more to calm. You have a jacuzzi overlooking to the skyline of KL. And just now when we see from the unit, it's level 5, right? We are pretty close to the foliage, but now at this level, it's even more exciting. There are like half a floor of units within this setting, and I guess it will be the premium ones, right? When you talk about like very close to KLCC, very close to KL City, right? This is KL City itself. And when other people say that it's just humongous, there's just concrete jungle, right? Not really. But second point out, within this setting, again, the government and public buildings around the proximity. So when it gets crazy in terms of traffic, it will, but the distance will be the selling points, and the access where it connects up to main highways. There are just so many ways to join into Mont Kiara and Dutamas area. And when you really pay close attention to the address within this area, almost every major highways connects to this. You have Duke, you have Wind, you have NKVE, you have Federal Highway, whatever, right? Most of them all connects to this address. And now we are right outside the lobby, and this will be the roads circulating the whole building as well as the fire access. But what's exciting, right, is still this piece of land adjacent to this, which they call this the second phase of park. And this is the connecting piece between this and Publika Mall itself. So suddenly, when you have this going through, right, that includes the park, truly then you will have connectivity to commercial, to convenience, lifestyle, everything lah. But so far, raining already. Well, then we will go find some shade before we talk further. Then coming out from the traffic light, when you turn left, we will go through Met 1. We will also come over to RT Mont Kiara, and those seems to be the closest amenities that you will get by walking distance. So it means that if you were to walk out to look for food or cafes or whatsoever, right, those will be the closest, as the project is a fully residential one. But just for information, lately things have kind of turned around for the buildings around this location, and it's greatly reflected within the rental rates itself. Everyone is back to traveling, everyone is back to office, everyone is back to the city center, and that further drives the demand for space around this location. Yeah, anyway, this road itself will be packed during school hours because there's a school there, and we're doing peak office hours. This is a terrible road. Yeah. Now we are right in front of Publika, or you call it Solaris Dutamas. So this is one of the two closest commercial centers from the site itself. But what's exciting is because it's developed by the same developer, hence there will be benefits to connect them together. Here you have all the amenities like bicycle shop, pharmacies, food and beverage, art galleries, everything lah, Hambalang, all also got lah. So it's rather convenient. But again, the debate for walking distance, if it's developed within walking through a park and all, then it will be ideal. But for now, a bit tough to me. For Malaysians, definitely it's a bit too far. I would grab already, or you can actually just take one of those scooters like this. If not, maybe for Ang Mos it's actually acceptable. But one thing here also, because there's a lot of public buildings, like the immigration building is right around the corner, and there's a lot of office towers. And the best thing about that, there's always demand for housing. But weirdly, within this proximity, right, there are a lot of landed products. And that will be the site that is called the Phase 2, the connecting segment to the overall development. So it's going to be rather exciting. Like written there, there's going to be offices, there's going to be the mall, there's going to be suites, which is small offices. And then right opposite, there are also a lot of developments. And just when you thought this area is already so high, then it's already so many high towers. There are still a lot of new projects, and that's always good for this weather. It's raining again. Anyway, let's find somewhere dry to do Sean Steak 3 on 3. Let's go. So for the three things I like, number one will be the architectural treatments, and there are multiple dimensions to this. From the site plan itself, I like that there is a turn in before the entrance itself, instead of just straight away going into the development. So there's this buffer, and that lane itself will be the future plan for part 2, I think. Anyway, the buffer between the building and that busy junction is also pretty apparent, which is very, very good. That buffer itself is a lot of space. They are very generous with it. Then going into the development, straight away you can feel this very playful, organic form. So you have this diagonal shape within the entrance, and I like it's not made into this grand kind of setting. The height is not too much. It's still a very humble scale to the overall experience when you drive in. And instantly once you step into the development, the landscape treatment is something. Like when you go in, the buffer from the drop off to the gate. And then when you go into the facilities there, every pocket, every island, every planter box is full. Then within the arrangement of that 2-block, the facilities deck is not as crazy in terms of scale, but it's very packed with experience, I must say. Then within the lap pool, you have hidden corners which I like. That spa experience, that jacuzzi at the edge of the swimming pool. Then you have the reading lounge, which is nice. And the attention to details, I really enjoy them. Like the flooring, the multi-purpose hall, it's all treated. The transparent doors from the car parks to the car park lobby. Within the unit itself, all the spaces are laid out nicely. For the floor plate design, they eliminated the void, so the entire experience becomes way more tidy. And within the unit, the spaces are compartmentalized really nicely. Like for kitchen, then you have the dining and living in one long space. Then you have a proper partition of the private spaces away from the open space. So even if you have guests at home, right, the family at home can still do their thing. Up to the wayfinding. So in every level, every single details is just thought through very nicely. And that's also very close to the second thing, which is the reputation of this particular developer. It's one of the top public listed companies within Malaysia itself, and they have a lot of projects within that address of Mont Kiara and Dutamas. And based on my experience dealing with the team and the agents, right, a lot of buyers of this existing project is not their first time buying from this developer. This brand itself has a huge following. It means a lot of them has profited from their previous purchases. And in this case, it's rather important because Solaris Parq and Publika are from the same development. And the empty land in between will be the critical part of this entire success. So now it's already very successful, don't get me wrong. But just that to elevate the next step further, right? Once that connection point is developed, the entire connectivity to Publika, then joined through a nature park. Oof. So my overall experience going through the entire building, right, as expected from the developer. Splendid. And the third thing will be the location of Dutamas itself. So it's this overflowing thing from Mont Kiara itself. And if you look into the map of KL, you can see a lot of main highways actually passes through Mont Kiara and Dutamas. You have Kerinci Link, you have Sprint Highway, you have NKVE, you have Duke Highway. All highways just passes by Mont Kiara, making it so popular and so connected. Then in terms of setting itself, this is one of the very rare full residential project within the address itself, because if you look around, all are commercial buildings, all mixed development. So you have a lot of offices around, you have shopping malls around. So in terms of demand and supply, if the tenant wants to raise a family within this setting itself, this project seems to be the only one. However, that also comes with a bad side of point number one. Within that setting itself, because the usage of commercial space within this area is very, very high, that comes with very high congestion as well. So on a normal weekday, you will have a lot of people traveling in through office hours. Then on Fridays, as you are located to one of the main big malls around the area, the amount of congestion there will also be terrible. Then the second thing will be the selling price. That is one of the highest within that address. So now it's priced around 1250 per square feet already, and that's mainly because of its residential usage. So as we mentioned, this is the one closest to all the commercial areas, and if you are working within those settings, right, it's just a bonus. But even at this current point, the price is rather high. I almost placed my booking, but looking at the surrounding, I can get projects within a stone throw away for way less. Of course, not full residential, of course not at the design that they have. But it also means it was beyond my budget lah. And that's the third thing as well. So within that address, because this is a very popular address, it's a very high demand address, there are a lot of upcoming projects around the area. So as we just pass by, we look at the fringe between Segambut and Dutamas. There's Midtown, there's Solastar, then right next to Publika, there's Dutamas. Even Publika is going to have Publika 2 themselves. Then you have Kami. Then you have a brand new commercial building by Exim. And we haven't even calculated the era, the master plan by IJM, and Mont Kiara itself. So within the area, there's going to be a lot of choices for that price. And I guess that's all for this episode. So shout out to William for having me for this project. And throughout this review, it really illustrates the exciting KL Metropolis again. Because we always see it from a distance, this is located right in the center. Plus, there's going to be a potential MRT 3 that's coming up, along with a new phase that joins Solaris Parq and Publika together. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao!